Kal v'chomer, needless to say, the rabbi that's teaching people, but not teaching them the truth. He's teaching them nice things. He's teaching them the nice stories. The carebear went from the sky with the little flying car, and he said, what are you teaching them? Now here's a proof. You could test whether your rabbi is a carebear rabbi. It's a test. It's a test. You could test it this week. This week. Test it. How you test it? Parashat Shavua. Parashat Shavua. Parashat Ki Tavo. 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 Scariest parasha in the entire Torah. Scariest parasha in the entire Torah. I connected this parasha. Not because I like to be scary, but because I saw many of the promises that HaShem Yitbarach says when you don't listen to Him. I saw them come true in my life. I did a shiur a couple of years ago, number 45, shiur Torah number 45. Talks about my own personal experience, and I go through this parasha. I think it's the first time I said my personal story. And I go through pasuk after pasuk, showing how I went through many of the things it says in this parasha. So Parashat Ki Tavo, there's two parashot in the Torah that talk about an extraordinary amount of curses and punishment that HaShem Yitbarach promises for not listening to Him. The first one is Parashat Bechukotai, my laws, in English, and the other one is Ki Tavo. The first one, Bechukotai, we heard a few months ago, that's HaShem Yitbarach, 49 curses for violating His word, treating Him like you treat your friends, with casualness, not taking Him seriously. And there's 5 levels of punishment, 49 different curses, ending with HaShem Yerachem getting to a point of getting to such starvation that Am Yisrael would have to eat their children. This is in Parashat Bechukotai. Parashat Ki Tavo is Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 to 26, 27, 28, gives 98 curses. 98. Double the amount of what Hashem said. Double. So Chazal says, this is the difference between the mercy of man versus the mercy of Hashem Yitbarach. Because as much as Moshe Rabbeinu, Kodesh Kodeshim, prophet of all prophets, giant of all giants, the biggest Chacham in history, the biggest tzaddik in history, Eved Hashem, slave of Hashem, servant of Hashem, had no personal wants, desires, nothing. Cancelled his life, cancelled his marriage for Hashem. Hashem Yitbarach gives him a description. Moshe Avdi. Moses, my servant. No one else is described to such level as Moses. Why? Moses is the top of the top. At the same token, known as the humblest of all men. So while being the giant of all giants, he still knew where he stood. He knew that he was a giant. He knew that he spoke to God face to face. He had to write it. He knew he was the prophet of all prophets. He had to write it in the Torah. He knew he was the biggest Chacham. He wrote it in the Torah. He knew no one is ever going to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. He wrote it in the Torah. But still he knew where it came from. And remained the humblest man of all time. He loved Am Yisrael. Loved them. He sacrificed his life day after day for them. But yet here, he gives them 98 curses, double the amount of Hashem. Instead of mentioning once about the worst punishment of getting into such starvation, of eating the children, he mentions it no less than 3 times. Gives details. Horrible, horrifying details. which Chazal says all came true. All of them came true during the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. All of them came true several times throughout history. And in last year's Tisha B'Av, we showed how it actually came true even during the Holocaust. Now in this parasha, in the beginning he talks about some blessings. 7 times he says, fulfill my mitzvot. Hashem says, היום הזה, אדוני אלוהיך מצווך לעשות את החוקים האלה ואת המשפטים ושמרת ועשית אותם בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך. Says, today God your Lord commands you to obey all these rules and laws. You must carefully keep them with all your heart and with all your soul. Not some of the rules, all the rules. Very next verse, it says, את אדוני אמרת היום להיות לך לאלוהים וללכת בדרכיו ולשמור חוקיו ומצוותיו ומשפטיו ולשמוע בקולו. Says here, today you have pledged, tells all of Am Yisrael, today is the day you've pledged. What do you mean you pledged? You pledged allegiance to God, making Him your God, and promising to walk in His path, to keep all His decrees, not just whatever you feel like it. All of them. Tzitzit, Tefillin, Shabbat, Tarat Mishpacha, modesty, everything. Not just what you feel like it. No, I'm hot, I don't want to wear tzitzit. No, my head is hot, I don't want to cover my head. No, my feet are hot, I want to walk, with no shoes. No, my brain is full, I don't want to learn any more Torah. I remember, I was a kid, I used to work out. And every time you see these people start coming to the gym, and they'll tell me, yeah, I want to start working out, I'm going to start doing this, start doing that, but I don't want to be too big. I don't want to get too big. And I look at them, and the guys that are worrying about being too big are usually like 30 pounds. Like tiny little, scrawny little kids. It's like, I don't want to be too big. I'm like, first you have to become like a healthy human being. Then worry about being big. First add some meat. Then worry about being big. What are you worried? You know how long it takes to be big? Big, muscular. What do you think? You should go to the gym for a week and become Hercules? So it's like this in Torah. Somebody does, starts keeping Shabbat. He's like, no, I don't want to become too much Haredi, too religious. What too religious? You just kept one Shabbat. Do you even know if you kept Shabbat? If you're not studying from the books of Torah, you're not learning all the halachot Shabbat, you didn't even keep the Shabbat 100%. Why? You violated at least 5-6 times. Why? Because if you don't know all halachot Shabbat, you're definitely violating Shabbat. One example we talked about is someone in Shabbat, you can't use dishwasher. So what do? You wash dishes. Wash dishes. Most people wash dishes on Shabbat. Washing dishes is one of the most common ways people violate Shabbat every week. Why? They use a sponge like they use for the regular week. Sponge for the regular week. They have one for dairy. They have one for meat. They figured, this is kosher, this is kosher. I'm continuing the same thing. No, my friend, you're making a mistake. Why? The sponge you have for the regular week can retain water. Once you squeeze that sponge, you are violating Shabbat. Meaning the sponge that you use for Shabbat cannot be a sponge at all. It has to be a net. It cannot retain water at all. If it retains water, you're violating Shabbat. Sochet. You didn't learn halachot Shabbat. You're violating Shabbat. So, someone just started keeping Shabbat. Like, no, I don't want to be too religious. Too religious. What too religious? Just learn the basics. Basics. Learn. So, Moshe Rabbeinu, second time says, you made a promise to Hashem to walk in His path, to keep all of His decrees, His commandments, His laws, obey His voice. Emulate His ways. What does it mean, go His ways? Be merciful, be graceful, be righteous, be holy. It's major midot that Hashem Yitbarach has. Without learning Torah and knowing how to do these 4 things, there's no way that you are holy. There's nowhere that you're righteous, there's nowhere that you're gracious, and there's nowhere that you're merciful. How do we know? Because someone can consider themselves merciful because they like pets. They like pets, they're merciful on pets. They see a stray dog, they save the stray dog. This is very nice. Chazaku Baruch for saving the stray dog. But you have to be more merciful for human beings. If all your extra money is going to save dogs, while there's homeless people around you, there's people that don't have food to have kiddush, there's people that can't afford to send their kids to yeshiva, and you're worried about the dogs, the cats, and the bunnies, you're not merciful. You actually are no different than the Nazis. The Nazis, by the way, so you know, the Nazis treated their pets, especially dogs, with the utmost respect. They loved their dogs. But while they're sending all the human beings to the gas chambers, they would tell them thank you. Every time they go in a gas chamber, they tell the guy thank you for going in. They had manners, but it's fake manners. It's not real manners. Why? Because all the mercy they had went to the wrong place. It went to the dogs. I'm not saying you should kill dogs, chas v'shalom. You're not allowed. There's also, you have to have mercy for dogs, but it does not supersede humans. If you don't learn Torah, you're not going to do it. People think they're gracious. They give. What do they give? They give money to the zoo. They give money to the Red Cross. They give money to all types of shtuyot when there's Jews that don't even know Shema Yisrael. There are millions of Jews who do not know Shema Yisrael, and you think that you're doing okay by donating money to the biblical zoo. There's a zoo of Noach in Israel. Some rich couple donated $400,000, which is a fortune in Israel. It's like, I don't know, $5 million in America. $400,000 for what? To build a gate for the new elephant in the biblical zoo of Noach in Israel. Ilui Nishmat, to raise the soul of someone that died. The gate for the elephant is, they think in their little tiny brain that this is somehow going to help some neshama in Shamayim. That neshama is cursing them out right now. This is what you did. 400, you know how many souls you can save to come back to HaShem to do TeShuva with $400,000? You spent it on an elephant? The elephant even knew. The elephant was saying, what are you doing? Go help you, give us some CDs. This is the craziness that we live in today. So if you're gracious without Torah, you're not gracious at all. You're gracious in the wrong places. Righteous, impossible to be righteous without learning Torah. Why? You need to know the instructions of how to be righteous. Holy, Hashem says you must be holy because I am holy. The greatest investment that a person can possibly do is to invest as much as possible into Cube.
I urge you to open up your heart, open up your wallet, support this incredible cause by donating. You're not only helping others, but you're also opening the door to divine blessings in your own life by really setting Hashem's children on the right track. Let's make a difference together, one person at a time. Thank you, and may Hashem bless all the sponsors and grow the Bezrat Hashem organization.